Hi, my name is Daniela Parra, and I am going to tell you a bit about the measures used in the world to control people's disobedience, and about my opinion of how the coronavirus is being handled nationally and worldwide. The measures used in the world to control people's disobedience by the isolation of the coronavirus have been different depending on the culture of the regions. In Colombia, people who don't abide by the measures taken by the government can incur a fine of 936,320 and may receive between 4 and 8 in jail, while the Kenya police use gas of fear to disperse the people who were on the streets. People ran to board ferries before the curfew in South Africa.
Con regaños, golpes y obligándolos a hacer sentadillas, la policía de la India castiga a las personas que rompen la cuarentena obligatoria para evitar la propagación del nuevo coronavirus.
On the other hand, in India, they punish people, scold them, beat them with sticks, and put them to exercise for violating the quarantine. In Córdoba, the Department of Colombia, the indigenous guards are putting in place measures such as putting people in wooden shackles on their feet to prevent them from moving for several hours for failing to comply with the isolation measures.
En Filipinas también están tomando medidas muy drásticas. Allí castigan a los que no cumplen con el confinamiento metiéndoles en jaulas de perros o obligándoles a pasar toda la noche en la calle.
This measure has caused a great shock for human rights defenders because local authorities in Santa Cruz, south of Manila, capital of Philippines, admit to having looked up 5 young men in a cage for a night on March 20, cornered by stray dogs upon finding them in breach of the curfew rule. In Panama, the mayor of La Chorrera, Tomás Velázquez, decided to apply a moral and community punishment for those who violate the quarantine law, making them be part of a kind of parade forced to walk in line, escorted by uniformed men towards some city parks. When the offenders arrived at the indicated public space, they were given a broom, and with the help of a tank cars they cleaned the parks, while some spectators and even the press themselves document the event that went viral on networks. The mayor warned that for the first time to punish had 24 hours of detention and a day of community cleaning. However, repeat offenders will have up to 4 days of cleaning work in a public places in the city. Finally, in Indonesia, the authorities decided to search for abandoned houses and properties to look up the violators of the confinement and enforce them in isolation. In the town of Sepat, local leaders choose a long abandoned site known for stories of witchcraft. They install beds separate by curtains and some furniture to isolate those who had taken to the streets for 2 weeks without authorization. Now, I will tell you a bit about my opinion on how the coronavirus is being handled nationally and worldwide. I think that the measures taken for the administration of the pandemic in Colombia have served to control the coronavirus a little. Measures such as preventive isolation have been controversial due to the blow it has given the economy, but it's necessary to preserve the health of the Colombians. Other measure that Colombia and the world have taken is a continuous washing of hands, the use of personal protection elements, although unfortunately there are people who don't use them, putting the health of others at risk. I think this has also served globally for the recovery of the planet. We can see many animals that have not been seen before or have not become extinct. On the other hand, the beaches, the lakes, the rivers are recovering from so much pollution and bad deals. For example, in places like Santa Marta have seen herds of dolphins. In Venice, dolphins and swans have been observed, and so in many other places. I think all this is making us reflect on what treatment we are giving to the earth and how destructive is man. On the other hand, I feel that after this pandemic, many people will change many habits and value the place where we live. In my life, I had seen a situation like this, and the way that governments have made a drastic decision and quickly seemed correct to me. Although regrettable, countries like Brazil, Mexico, USA have taken measures negligent, and that is why today they have many cases of infected and death. To finish, I feel that although you couldn't be with the people we love, we know that they are alive and healthy and we can connect with them. We have to think that this pandemic will end soon.